it's Luke.
Luke, hey, Joe and Eric, how you doing, man?
Excellent, Joe. How are you doing?
Good, good. Hey, wanted to see if you're up for some tacos.
Taco Tuesday. You ready?
Oh, let's do this.
We're in for tacos. We'll be right down.
All right, sounds good. We'll be out front.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Crank her up.
All week. Food.
Second thing start.
Oh my god.
All right, guys, welcome to episode of Comm Specs and Cars Getting Tacos. Today we have two very special guests, just like the car we chose for this episode. They make an impact everywhere they go. Hope you enjoy.
I think they have vegan tacos. I hope they have vegan. Oh yeah. Nice ride.
So, as you know, our topic today for everybody is customer service. So, do you guys think your time in public safety affected how you look at customer service? Or do you think your time in the private sector has influenced that more?
I don't think it matters whether you're private sector or other. The responsibility, especially in healthcare, doesn't change. Right?
Yes.
Because you're there to assist the patient any way you possibly can, and it doesn't matter how you're funded or anything like that. The ultimate goal is still patient care and doing everything you can to provide the service.
And I think care is the operative word there. We take care of people. And whether you're paid by taxes or paid by private sector money, the taking care of people part doesn't change. I think what does change, and it's not a difference between taxes and revenue sources, but when you're put in the position of having to describe a customer or customer service, and you have to get very analytical about it, I think the terminology changes. When you're actually doing it, you're just taking care of people.
I agree.
But if I had to describe it, I would say most people don't realize we have 4 distinct customer groups in every transport, where the first customer is our requesting agency or hospital. The second customer would be the patient and their family or loved ones. The third customer would be the receiving facility, and the final customer is whoever's paying the bill, oftentimes not one of the first 3. And those 4 customer groups translate to not just flight operations, but patient navigation. Anytime that you have one group of people that you have to take care of in order to continue earning the requests, and of course you have to take care of the patient and their families. And then in order to reliably always have some place for your patients to go, you have to take care of the receiving facilities. And then if we're going to continue to do this day over day, we have to be able to collect money.
So do you think those different groups require a different sort of customer service, or they're all just taking care of the customer?
So ultimately, you got to take care of all of them. What each of their needs are will certainly differ.
Center, how do you exude customer service over the phone? Because you're not looking face to face. They can't see you hard at work.
For me, customer service is really
At its core, customer service is the same in the air medical industry as it is, like, say, a taco stand?
Sure. Customer service at its core is still about taking care of people. And whether you're taking care of them at a taco stand or in the back of an ambulance, there's expectations, there's a problem that needs to be solved, a skill set to solve it. So at its core, I do believe customer service is somewhat universal.
Building, maintaining relationships, providing a service. It really doesn't matter what the industry is.
People do business with people they know, like, and trust.
I agree with that. I like that.
Relationships.
And that's the textbook way of saying it's all about relationships. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. So if they don't know you, they don't like you, or they don't trust you, the likelihood of a long-term relationship is pretty low.
So in our industry, have you actually seen a requester choose another air medical company because of bad customer service?
Yes.
And are they open about that, or is that something that you have to work hard and go find that we...
So it depends on how inspired they are. So if we've made them very upset and they're very inspired by their dissatisfaction, they absolutely let us know when they're not calling us. Or if they're extremely happy with us and they're choosing us because of a customer loyalty, they're sure to let us know. And that represents the smallest percentages. The challenge is really the ones in the middle where it wasn't an impassioned experience and they've left you and you don't know. They didn't care enough to tell you. Or they've stayed and they also didn't care enough to tell you. So it's that zone in the middle where we could do our best work.
So being Luke from the communication side, since you probably heard hundreds if not thousands of recordings, what do you see the biggest mistake comm specs are making customer service wise to lose that trust in, say, the first couple minutes of the call? Is there something up in the beginning of the call that everybody should be doing?
Dave mentioned it earlier, kind of reflecting the requester. So you can gain a lot from what the requester's tone of voice is, their statements. You can read a lot from that, and to reflect that back, the customer definitely receives that. The other thing is, a lot of times we make assumptions that we know what the requester needs or is looking for, so we don't listen. Again, number one key for customer service, right, can be listening skills, where we don't listen. We assume that the customer needs something and we act that way, even though on a recording the requester is clearly stating what they want and we hear something different because that's what we're expecting. We're not listening.
All right, one more question. Say something goes wrong. How do you work on customer retention, or is there anything that you can do in the split moment to kind of alleviate an error on our part?
So for us, it's honesty, transparency, and getting back with that customer, whoever it is, quickly. When there's a gap in time, it really makes it harder to recover that relationship. So getting back, being open, honest. Most of our customers, if we have ownership, they understand. But we need to be open and transparent about it, and we can't put it off. We need to show that customer that they are a priority to us and that we're addressing the issue moving forward.
Sometimes a customer service failure requires an apology, and an apology has several components to it, and sometimes people don't think it all the way through. But the first part of an apology is the acknowledgement that something didn't go right. The second is the acceptance of responsibility, at least for your portion of what didn't go right. The next is an explanation of what went wrong, at least from what was within your control. Next is, what are we going to do next time to make sure it doesn't happen again? And then last is, when appropriate, is there something we can do to make up for the shortfall? And a person's acceptance of an apology is easily measured by the number of components you put into it. So if you just say, I'm sorry, single component apology, it'll have a one-factor value. But if you apologize, accept responsibility, discuss what went wrong, talk about what you're going to do differently next time, and then make a reparation, and it's a 6-component apology, it gets 6 times the worth on the receiving end. So apologies shouldn't be offhanded. You should only be accepting responsibility for what is yours to own. But if you're going to own it, own all of the steps of the apology and don't come up short.
So, any final takeaways about customer service? What should everyone realize about customer service?
I think listening, huge part, right? Not just to the words that are passed on, but the tone of voice, the voice reflection, not making assumptions, building that relationship with the requester and whoever the interaction is with. It may not be the requester. Dave pointed out 4 points for customer service. Maintaining those relationships.
The customer, and regardless of which customer it is, the customer has a problem that needs to be solved. They want it solved in a expedient and technically competent way, and they want to feel good about the experience at the end. So if we can solve their problem and they feel good about the way we solved it, that's a great first step in building those relationships.
All right, that's awesome.
Tacos.
Thanks for the tacos.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining
you
us.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.